Hi there, my name is Beck, and you the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring that little bell so you are notified when new videos drop. So if you're new to my channel, as I said, my name is Beck, and I am a rabbi. I'm actually a real, genuine rabbi. I'm a massive Doctor Who fan. Absolutely adore Doctor Who. I like, geekdom in general. I grew up reading comic books. Reading 2000 AD, right? That's one I really grew up loving every minute of. And, in about the mid-80s, early to mid-80s, I got into American comics when, all the British creators were then sucked out of England into the American industry. So I got into American comic books then. I stopped reading them about 5 years ago because I wasn't paying that much attention to US comics because they weren't part of my early childhood. They're not part of my DNA. So I just kind of vaguely realized I wasn't enjoying it so much, and my my pool list got smaller and smaller and smaller. Eventually, I'm like, forget it. I'm not really that interested anymore. So I stopped reading them. It wasn't until a couple of years later when this wave of insanity that started in comics and hit the entire rest of entertainment, hit Doctor Who, that I really noticed it when it basically entertainment had been turned into a platform for, I would say, a very divisive and obnoxious agenda, that alienated half the audience. And again, happened throughout the entirety of me, just still happening today, of course. That I didn't really see what's going on, but I wasn't really there for the real depravities in the comic book industry, which eventually led to its destruction. So other than loving Doctor Who, I also write and draw comics. I got an Indiegogo going right now. Here we go, Indiegogo going. That's a bit of a mouthful. Anyway, go check it out. Well, it's over here. Go check this out. It's two frickin' awesome graphic novels, and I say so myself. Frickin' awesome graphic novels. One's like 105 pages long, The Imperium, the other one Biblical. Kind of got a feeling of those early Vertigo books, that all the British creators made in the US industry. That's the kind of vibe I'm going with. That's a 220-page book. It's in the video notes right now. Go check it out. If it's for you, fan-frickin-tastic. If it's not for you, if you can share it, that'd be great. If you can hit the like button, frickin' awesome. I do like being liked, baby. If you can hit the share button, people should know my opinion on frickin' everything. I think that'll make life better for everybody. But mostly, subscribe to my channel. Make a rabbi happy, I would say. But you really want to make a rabbi happy, buy bloody comics. That's how you make a rabbi happy. How often do you get the opportunity to make a rabbi happy by buying his comics, which actually are pretty darn good. You know what comics aren't pretty darn good? America Chavez, made in the USA. So I'm starting to review mainstream comics. I figure if I want to really connect with a comic book reading and buying audience, maybe program for them, right? Maybe do that, which is what I'm doing right here. So this is the first time I've read mainstream US comics for a long time, and I heard of this one. Because it's a predecessor by, was it Gabby Rivera, which I never read. I just heard it was absolutely awful. And so this has been received quite well. I had kind of been intrigued, and I think it's been received quite well because the Gabby Rivera run was so bad. All I can say is, I've never seen the Gabby Rivera run, but it must have been mind-meltingly awful if people are looking at this going, whoa, this is quite good in comparison. This is not bad at all. Because it's not good. It's not good at all. If you liked this book because it's better than its previous book, you are suffering from Stockholm syndrome, right? That's really what's going on, because it's not really a good book. As I say, I'm coming at this, I don't know anything about this character. I'm coming at her as a complete newbie, and I've been left a bit confused. And so confused, in fact, I had to go and listen to your boy Zach's review, which I really tried to avoid, just to try and piece together an understanding of roughly what's going on with this. Which is not good, You should always view, especially a number one, as an entry point for new readers, which I am. I also reviewed Ram v Swamp Thing. I liked Alan Ball, so I reviewed Ram v Swamp Thing, which is better than this. It was actually a lot better than this. I feel bad now. I gave it a 5 out of 10. I think I'm going to stick to my my rating, because this is it was better than, for that reason. It treated you as a newbie and brought you in. But the other reason it was far better than this is it was written and created by people who have comics as part of their understand how to use comics. So Kalinda, what's the name of the person? Kalinda Vasquez. Yeah, again, this is part of the insanity in the entertainment industry, that you can only have a like create for like. There's this new segregation. Where if you're writing a Hispanic or is it Latinx, and I don't think any Hispanic person likes the word Latinx. It doesn't sound like Kleenex. Latinx, the new toilet paper. No, that doesn't sound good. But they can, if it's a black character, it has to be a black character, whatever. So fine, it was kind of everybody rolled their eyes. Obviously, Kalinda Vasquez is going to write it. Unlike Gabby Rivera, she actually has a career in writing, which has been useful, and you can tell in this book. But you could also tell it's not a career in writing comic books. I was really kind of miffed. I should have really noticed. This is why the comic book industry was going south when DC had their what's it called mentoring program. Their I can't remember, was it mentoring or intern or whatever program it was called, where they're trying to recruit new talent. I was like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll apply to that. And I was dismayed when they kept hiring. Well, firstly, not white men. They're bad. Not white, especially not white heterosexual men. Especially not white heterosexual men that believe in God. That's verboten. No, not that. But the people they were interested in, very clearly interested in, were TV writers and YA writers. They weren't interested in people who have been doing indie comics and learning their skill, learning their trade, making comics. And it shows because the comics they made weren't very good, and it shows here as well. Kalinda has a profession, an air of professionalism about that comes with 5-10 years of professional writing. That she's got a few ideas in this book, and has got a reasonable plot structure. But the execution of it is poor. And I think execution of it poor is because of her lack of understanding, or lack of not only understanding, lack of familiarity with the medium and how to work within that medium. Again, the only way to really do something, in my estimation, is to do it and then do it again and then do it again and then do it again. So she's got this script writing resume. She's written for Discovery, Star Trek Discovery, which is hot garbage, absolute garbage. Avoid that like the bloody plague. She's done a bunch of CW stuff, so she kind of does a bunch of geek girl sort of things. So anyway, as I said, I don't know much about this character, so I read the blurb going, hoping it would set me up and I know what's going on. No, I actually did the inverse. Let me read this to you, see if you can piece together any sense out of it. When America Chavez superhero mothers, what? She has mothers, multiple mothers, sacrifice their lives to save their home dimension. Okay, one thing, let's unpack this. How many mothers does she have? If it's not like a mother and a father, does she have like 2? Is it 16? Is it 407? Who knows? I don't think, who cares? But they sacrifice their life to save their home dimension, the utopian parallel. Well, I guess it's utopian because they don't have any men in it. So yeah, there's a real feminist sexism running through this book, as there is running through the entirety of entertainment media. Where being a white male was a bad thing, as shown over and over again in this book. Especially heterosexual male. Whoa, that's a bad thing. Young America knew she had to live up to their example. Okay, fine. So, whatever. She's got. Okay, she has dead parents to aspire to. Very superhero. America fell to earth and became the portal-punching, dimension-shattering, super-strong hero she was born to be. Okay, again, it's too complicated at this point. The backstory is too complicated at this point. Superman, last survivor of a dying, last survivor of a world raised by the cat. That basically could do it in one line. This is like, what? I don't understand. Okay, whatever. So she's been as a young Avenger, an Ultimate, and recently a West Coast Avenger. It is West Coast, right? A West Coast Avenger. America knows what she's doing, where she's going, and who she is. Doesn't she? Well, she might do, but I bloody don't. So again, I'm new to this character, and I had to go to your boy Zach's review to get to understand roughly what was going on after I read this. And so this whole new backstory they introduced to her about where she came from, I can't believe this is new. All this stuff is new, apparently. How do you have an established character without a childhood or a backstory? Or like, I guess she's got the mothers from another dimension, but like, so this is an adoptive family that finds her on 13 years ago. So that'll be what, 2008 in Jones Beach in New York, right? So her fortunately it's a Latino family because she's Latino. Because again, segregation is the best, kids. Segregation is awesome. Everybody loves segregation. But again, the artwork on this, excellent. As we can see when we go to the next page, so the A-Bs between like her secret origin, which again, I don't know how they've run this character for years without this origin, and the present day story. The present day story is not very good, but again, at least the artwork's good. So here you can tell this is a TV writer, not a comic writer. It's this fight just isn't really working. It's against a giant mole. You know, giant moles aren't that interesting as on comic. I can see on TV, you know, you're watching The Flash or whatever CW crap you're watching, a giant mole will look okay, and it's, you know, crappy CGI that they would do it with. On a comic, not so much. But more than that, the pacing of the storytelling is weak. It's either very Constantinoed or very dragged out. It's not. It's clunky. It's clunky. It doesn't. It's not good. It's not good. It may be better than its predecessor, which I never read, but that does not make it a good comic. So then we get this weird bit where this school kid shows up with weird blue hair for some reason, and a video camera. Who's got a video camera in 2021? I haven't seen one since a number of years, and I go to touristy places. Nobody has a video camera, but she has a video camera, and what she has is a lot of exposition, a lot of very clunky, uncomfortable exposition, where she asks a lot of clunky, uncomfortable questions while a fight goes on in the background. Undramatically presented. They have Lady Hawkeye show up. So that was actually, this is my where I got off of comics. I realized this is my jumping off and jumping on point. Like one of the last things I read was Matt Fraction's Hawkeye, which I really enjoyed. Like David Adjett, I really enjoyed that book. Okay, so I wonder what happened in the interim 5 years, but okay. So they have this fight, badly presented fight, and they keep going back to her backstory, which I found a bit creepy, right? So listen, when Superman falls to Earth, or comes to Earth in his rocket ship, and he's raised by the Kents, this is what? It depends on which continuity you're looking at, the 30s, the 60s, whatever. This is 2008, where... there's an epidemic of children being kidnapped and used as props to illegally enter America, to illegally come to America, and then are sold into slavery, sex slavery, a lot of the time. So it's very creepy. It's very creepy when they find this girl and they don't try to find out who she is or where she comes from whatsoever, or what's going on with her. They don't give her the authorities, because then she'll just get lost in the systems, because the system's bad. Which probably it is, but they decide to adopt her and raise her as her own. Again, in 1930s, I can see that people are being wholesome. This is 2008. It's very, very, very disturbing. Very disturbing. They say they got to get a fake ID. I'm just thinking through that they have to get a fake ID for her or whatever. It's just very disturbing. But that doesn't really matter. Back to the current day, and here more moles break out and attack. And now I find out that America Chavez is a lesbian, because of course. Like, how could she not be? And I said I'm a great big Doctor Who fan. There's this company called Big Finish that make Doctor Who radio plays, which are really very good. They have a bunch of the different things. They have radio plays. But over the last couple of years, whenever there's been any either committed couple or married couple, it's always a gay couple. 90% of the time, it's a lesbian couple. Unless it's a trans couple. There's no heterosexual couples in media anymore. So anyway, so she turns up and she's got this superhero girlfriend with powers I don't really understand. Remember, it's my first time reading this, and I don't know what's going on, right? You're dropping me in the middle of a continuity, and I'm not saying fill it with exposition. I like clunky exposition. I'm saying fill it with skillful exposition. You should be given the story without realizing you're being told it. And I'm always realize I'm being told it when they're bothering to tell it. So here again, she's raised back in New York 13 years ago by the wonderful, loving family who, again, thankfully matches her skin tone because that's the only thing that matters. In this day and age or that day and age, and then she wakes up again. And this is actually, again, bad storytelling, not bad plot idea, but apparently she loses her power. The powers are like switching on and off. Good idea, fine. If you're a TV writer or a movie writer, this works in cinema or on TV. It could work in comics if it was done proficiently, but it's not. It's not done proficiently. And it's nothing against Kalinda Vasquez. I just don't think she spent 5 years, like working her fingers to the bone making comics, which is what I demand of my creators, quite frankly, because I think that's what it takes to make a few good comics. So America's powers are switching off and on, and so she goes and like destroys the roof of her apartment. I think like that. But why? To see if her powers are working? I guess if they weren't working, she would have broken her fist instead. Again, doesn't seem that smart. Seems to be a less destructive way they could do it, but she's really freaked out. And then she hears about this crisis going on back where she grew up. And I mean, this is where I first found out that nobody knew her secret origin at this point. So she says, "Oh no, I got to go home." She said, "Washington Heights? I thought your old place was in Brooklyn." Yeah, listen, this family who she cares about, obviously, she hasn't mentioned it right up until now. So there's a massive like psi power dome over her old home. And she, and over here, I realize that her powers all have big, like, American-style stars that she appears through or does stuff with. So she portals over to back to New York, and then right then her powers give out. I think this artwork again and deserves some kudos because I think it's good. I like the expressions are good. I like the banana. It sells it. It sells it. It's doing its job more than proficiently. I think it's doing it, with a bit of artistry, which is good for an artist. But then the horrible 2021 writing kicks right back in. Right then, Spider-Man shows up and he has a cameo. And the reason for him to show up is for him to be useless and be cut. So he's there, and America's like, I'm going to break into this dome by hitting it. They're like, maybe do something a little bit smarter. No, spam, hitting it, fine. And then she says, Spider-Man, you do crowd control. Spider-Man? That's what you give, like, your kind of crappy teenage sidekick to do. That's what you do when you can't do anything else. They say, those who can do, those who can't do, teach. And those who can't teach Jim. And my gym teacher couldn't even do that. He sucked at that too. So there you go. And I'm going to blame my physique on him right now. So fine, she smashes through the bubble, and she's able to use one of those cool New York water towers to put out the fire. There's a mysterious figure in shadows saying, I've waited so long for this, to see you again, to talk to you. So, okay, she's going to turn up again. Good superhero landing here. Yeah, again, I want to give the artist kudos. Good superhero landing. Good colouring as well, quite frankly. At least I think I miss the era of bisexual lighting. I think that's going. Right? That's what the good thing of not reading comics for American comics. Are like, this is kind of bisexual lighting. So yeah, then we meet up with a family in present day who are all grown up, are old, and she sees they gave her a warning to get out of the building because the building was going to be on fire. So yeah, listen, it's got those workman-like TV plot points. You kind of feel like you get to an ad break every 15 minutes. It does that. It's got a couple of decent ideas in it. Again, her power switching off and on, good. Giving her an actual story, a backstory, a family, if she didn't have one. Yeah, I can see that being quite important, but but the execution of it, as I said, the execution I found to be weak. Again, I feel terrible if you're coming off of the last run of it and you go, well, that was unbelievably bad. At least this, has some any. At least some, at least there's some things to recommend it. So I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. No, I'm afraid not. I'm gonna have to score this one a 3 out of 10 because while it has some areas of extreme professionalism in the artwork and the plot points, the errors in it make it an unprofessional product, and I cannot recommend that you spend your money. I don't know who would want to spend their money on it. Like, I don't know who wants to see Latino lesbian adventures. I mean, yes, I take that back. I know lots of people who want to see Latino lesbian adventures, but I think the people who want to see Latino lesbian adventures normally want to see the Latino lesbians take their clothes off for those adventures. I don't think they're so much into this, but I guess this is why Marvel Comics is in the toilet, right? But if you like comics, if you love comics, go check out my graphic novel. Go check out my graphic novels, The Rabbi from Another Planet, Comics Bonanza. Go check it out today. It's I think there's still about 20 left on sale where you can get both books for $20. You get a bunch of art cards and posters, all kinds of stuff. It's great. It's fantastic. It's the deal. It's the steal. It's the sale of the freaking century. Go check out my comic books. My name is Sheila Beck and the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and have yourselves a freaking awesome day.